Okay, good evening, people. Been in court all day long with the trial of Jake Carrizal, and he went through a grueling day in court. Stood sweating while the one of the assistant prosecutors, Amanda Dillon, read every word of the indictment against him, which details that he used a firearm, a whip, a club, a chain, or an object unknown to the grand jury to kill somebody, and that's 9 people. Their names, did then and there, and so forth. Then they started on the 20 who were wounded. Same story. Also, that he directed the activities of a criminal outlaw organization. Okay, how do you prove that an organization like the Bandidos is a criminal outlaw organization? Well, we went through that this morning while they were picking the jury, and I'm going to ask my lovely assistant, Ms. Bernadette Feazell, to read the Texas statute from the Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 38.23, as to what a jury must do to regard that or to nullify the charge. Hit it.
Okay. No evidence obtained by an officer or other person in violation of any provisions of the Constitution or laws of the state of Texas or the Constitution or laws of the United States of America shall be admitted in evidence against the accused on the trial of any criminal case. In any case where legal evidence raises an issue hereunder, the jury shall be instructed that if it believes or has a reasonable doubt that the evidence was obtained in violation of the provisions of this article, then and in such event the jury shall disregard any evidence so obtained. It is an exception to the provision of the subsection A of this article that the evidence was obtained by a law enforcement officer acting in objective good faith, reliance upon a warrant issued by a neutral magistrate based on probable cause.
Okay, that's where it stands. Mr. Carrizal was charged on an identical affidavit of warrantless arrest. Everyone, same allegation, 177. Their bail was set at $1 million, which was a real good year for the insurance brokers and pawn shop operators who arranged surety bonds for offenders. It was a good year for attorneys who go to court and get paid so much an hour for sitting in hearings and obtaining bond reductions and so on and so forth. From there you can extrapolate where this is all going. Now, all of this was cooked up by a crew of outlaw motorcycle gang investigators who have been trained by a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive Fee 5-4-Fum. Why don't they throw in land, cattle, and Bibles? But at any rate, his name is Darren Kozlowski, and for 30 years he has been penetrating outlaw motorcycle gangs as defined by...
He's very jaded.
He is.
He's very jaded. He doesn't believe if you've got the diamond patch, the 1%, you're just an evil person.
And there's
no way around it. That's just it. And it's amazing how stuck he is.
That's based on what the American motorcycle dealers had to say about that. And about 1947, some guys who had come home from World War II and were riding motorcycles, drinking beer, and chasing girls, laid siege to a hay-growing town named Hollister, California. And they held the town hostage for 2 days. Oh my God, they made a movie about it. He even testified about that.
Marlon
Brando, yeah, the Wild One, and Sons of Anarchy. My God, man, I mean, it's just so anyway, here's the deal. He, in his 30 years experience, he has infiltrated the warlocks, the Mongols, and the Vagos in California. So this is kind of a Californicated deal that he's talking about. But at any rate, he
admitted he doesn't know a thing about Texas.
Said he doesn't know anything about the Bandidos. She asked him, Casey Gautreaux said, well, what do you base your opinion on? He said, well, I've been around them. I know about them. Some of my people that I've supervised, and let's get a load of that. The people that he supervises are people who have flipped for federal agencies. And what they got busted for was a litany of things that they shined up on the wall, PowerPoint presentation that includes money laundering, murder, prostitution, rape, human trafficking, murder, rape, various types of mayhem. But he did hold his index finger up in the air, and he said, these people draw the line. They draw the line at child molestation or exploitation of children for pornographic purposes, and and the only thing I could think is, well, I mean, it's good to know that them boys
at least he had one thing good to say.
Some standards, and but she said when after it was all said and done, he must have been on that witness stand an hour and a half, 2 hours.
They were proud of him. He was proud of himself.
I think so. And
he had friends out there.
Casey Gautreaux stood up and she objected, and she said, I don't see where you're going to prove that the Bandidos are an outlaw motorcycle gang.
No, it's OMG does not mean oh my God. OMG is outlaw motorcycle gang from now on.
Okay, and he spent a lot of time explaining the various changes that he went through to go from being a hang-around to a prospect to a full patch member, and the various.
He took himself very seriously.
He took himself very seriously.
He was from California. And
it reminds me of old Hazy Davy. He was still in the Navy,
Yeah,
But
and he just went. He had his little PowerPoint production that he was really too proud of, and then he kind of got in there and was trying to say that the Bandidos were so bad that they even went out and got good lawyers, And thank God the judge said, no, we're not going to get into...
We're not going there.
We're not going there. Let them have their lawyers. They get good lawyers, too. The Bandidos get good lawyers. You got to watch them because they're criminals.
Here's the deal. She said, what's the difference between an outlaw motorcycle gang and an outlaw motorcycle club? Now, they both have the 1%er patch. That's because the president of the American Motorcycle Association said that 99% of motorcyclists are law-abiding, but only 1% are lawbreakers, law violators, outlaws. They are outlaws. So certain groups of guys who, and he named some real great...
Everybody thinks they're an outlaw.
Gray-bearded daddy-os from way back, the pissed-off bastards of Bloomington. These guys were around with Dakota Hammurabi and the Bow Street Runners, what have you. So at any rate, then we've got the people that turned into the Hells Angels start off as the pissed off bastards, right? So that the booze fighters, they're still around. In fact, they didn't have to go to jail after Twin Peaks. They just said, y'all go on home. So how'd that work out? Gee, I don't know.
None of this had anything to do with the Bandidos of Texas, and it certainly had nothing to do with poor old Jake Carrizal, who's standing there and didn't do anything.
And Casey Gautreaux said that she would object to that. Judge Matt Johnson, Abel Rayner's ex-law partner, said, I'm going to allow the testimony. So that means that come 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, when the jurors come back, that all of that is going to be allowed on the record as testimony. Okay, how was that evidence obtained, and is it relevant?
It was obtained through cut and paste, if you want the truth, because it was a really long. It was not good. It was cut and paste.
And that brings us to our next.
That
brings us to our next point on the PowerPoint, and that is that the judge objected to certain cantos of the presentation, which either will be stricken or they will be modified.
He just did it with his little typewriter. We could all do that little PowerPoint thing. It wasn't anything fancy. The only thing fancy he had was a collage of Sons of Anarchy with Marlon Brando. That was the only fancy thing. And then a few pictures of his own tattoos and stuff.
Well, look,
like
we
that.
know it's been a long and weary day for you folks because we've loaded you down with a lot of material that was broadcast during the day. I want to close on a positive note. I believe in good news, happy news, and I'm going to lay it on you. They said that one integral part of outlaw motorcycle gangs are old ladies, that they are sometimes the targets of violence. That's bad. But here's what's good. They oftentimes are members of law enforcement organizations such as jails, correctional facilities, detective bureaus, and what have you. And then we know that's true because one of our own, a lieutenant at the McLennan County Jail, the McLennan County Sheriff's Office, corrections officer, supervisor, leader of men and women, was forced to leave her job when it was learned that she was really, really tight with one of the bandidos. And so our Sheriff Parnell McNamara made a decision. He just couldn't have that. So as we know, there's some truth to that. Another thing that I want to leave you with before I give you my tag out that the floggings will continue until morale improves is this. Politicians are often very, very involved with outlaw motorcycle gangs, said Agent Kozlowski. He said that he's got evidence. He's got pictures of senators standing there with their arm around somebody in their cut with their 1% diamond patch. And oh my goodness. And so that's the best we can do for now. Do you have anything to add, Lady Feazell?
Well, you know, I always see biker gangs and stuff at funerals and stuff and doing nice things for veterans. I had no idea. I'm just way too innocent. But yeah, but Jake Carrizal looked good. Everything was good today, and I can't wait till we get in there tomorrow. And they're going to have to put a gun in this guy's hand. They're really kind of hyping it up a little bit too much. And then he's just standing there. And
no, their allegation is that they don't have to show that he ever had a gun in his hand or that he ever overtly ordered anybody to do anything.
Yeah, and like the statute just said, the jury is going to decide whether or not
it's up to the jurors to make up their mind.
Because this was written by an idiot. We should find who wrote this statute and go out and
flog him.
They should be flogged.
But he should be flogged.
What the hell did that even say?
Here's the deal. It's the culture. It's the outlaw motorcycle gang culture that just comes through osmosis, through conditioning, through psychological Stockholm syndrome stuff. Just eyes on you, baby. I mean, we are going to take over here. And so I leave you with that good news because that dog won't hunt, y'all. And this is the legendary Jim Parks coming at you in stereo, and I'm going to see you in the morning, 0900. Sparkle in your China, shine in your Japan. I'm your hand. Adios, amigos y amigas.